All right, good evening. This is Luke Thomas Holmquist here at the Earthquake Forecast Center. It is 10:25 in the evening on Friday, September 17th, 2021. 10:25 in the evening on Friday, September 17th, 2021. We just got a 4.3 earthquake in the Los Angeles area near Carson City. And that was forecasted yesterday. Let's check our forecast here. All right. This quake here, the 3.6 earthquake that hit northwest of LA back on 8 in the morning on September 13th was predicted perfectly. And that hit exactly at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then we had a 2.7 earthquake on this spike in risk right here. And this peak right here triggered a foreshock for this bigger earthquake coming up tomorrow night. This peak here produced a 4.3 earthquake. This one right there near Carson City. Let's zoom in there and show you where it's at exactly. So southeast of the airport, south of Los Angeles, and northwest of Long Beach. Right there, it's just east of Carson City. And that is definitely a foreshock because, I'll show you in just a minute. This spike in risk here is coming up tomorrow night into the 19th in the morning. And this one is calibrated to produce a 5.0. This is why the small peak produced a 4.3, because that's a foreshock to a much larger earthquake tomorrow. Now, it'll be at least a 5.0 earthquake tomorrow, September 18th in the Los Angeles area. However, I think it's going to be probably a little bit north of Los Angeles, this next one. It could be in the same area, but most likely a little bit north of Los Angeles into the Ridgecrest area, because Ridgecrest is also, it has a 5.0 possible on late in the 18th into the 19th as well. All right, let's get back to that in a second here. Let's go to the Anchorage earthquake forecast. And each one of these peaks, this forecast model is working perfectly. After 16 years of research, almost 17 years of research, things are moving perfectly in line with the peaks here. This produced a 4.9 late on the 13th, 3.9 with this peak here on the early on the 15th. And we had forecasted a 5.3 earthquake on the 16th, and a 5.0 and a 5.6 earthquake hit on that peak just hours before 2 p.m. and an hour after 2 p.m. on that forecast peak there. This peak here is a smaller peak for Anchorage, however, down near Sand Point, which is southwest of Anchorage, right down here somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, right down in this area here is where a much stronger earthquake could hit in the next few hours, right around midnight, down southwest of Anchorage near Sand Point. We could get a strong earthquake down there, but otherwise in Anchorage is sort of quiet there. 55% risk on the 19th. All right, let's go to Coalinga. Each one of these peaks has been working perfectly. 3.8 on this peak here on the 14th, 3.6 on this peak here, a 2.8 on this one here, and a 4.0 earthquake is still possible today on the 17th in the Coalinga area, and a 4.0 is possible tomorrow on the 18th on this spike in risk right here. El Centro, this spike in risk produced a 3.6 northwest of El Centro near Los Angeles, and this one here, almost exactly on that peak there, produced a 3.7 just south of El Centro. And this spike in risk coming up tomorrow could produce a 4.3 earthquake in the Salton Sea area. So we have a lot of high risk tomorrow on the 18th and the 19th in the California area. So be on alert in Southern California. 5.0 is likely to hit somewhere in Southern California, most likely in the Los Angeles to Ridgecrest area. on the 18th into the 19th, most likely on 18th. All right, Eureka, this produced a 3.6. And this one is on the 17th, a smaller peak. This is coming up tomorrow in the morning on the 18th. A 4.5 is possible in Eureka tomorrow morning on the 18th, and another spike in risk here on the 19th. So a lot of action in California. If you want to look at these graphs that are cities near you, look at quakeprediction.com right here, and you'll get these forecast cities. We'll be adding more later, but here's Los Angeles again. 3.6 occurred on this peak, 2.7 on this one, and this peak right here produced that 4.3. And the reason why it's a smaller peak is because it was a foreshock to this much larger peak coming up tomorrow, which should produce a 5.0 or larger in the area from Los Angeles up to Ridgecrest. So look for a 5.0 is likely in the Los Angeles to Ridgecrest area, the 18th into early on the 19th. South Lake Tahoe produced a 3.6 on this peak on the 15th. 3.0 is possible on the 17th still. A 4.5 is possible on about 8 p.m. on the 18th. And a lot of these peaks work in conjunction with each other. So sometimes you have a peak, a strong peak across all the different cities in California, kind of in sync sometimes. All right, Athens, 53% risk coming up on the 19th, on this spike in risk on the 19th. And then in Tokyo, this peak produced a 5.8, and this peak produced a 5.4 northwest of Tokyo. This one here was southeast of Tokyo, this 5.8. And this very strong spike in risk is coming up late in the 20th into the 21st, and could produce a 6.5 to 7.0 earthquake, most likely just south or southeast of Tokyo, and looks like right now maybe Shizuoka area, but definitely a strong earthquake coming up for the Tokyo area late in the 20th into the 21st. All right, let's go back to the Los Angeles forecast once more. This spike produced a 3.6, and this one, even though it was a small spike in risk, produced that 4.3 late on the 17th, because we have a much bigger quake coming up. That was a foreshock because we have a much bigger quake coming up tomorrow on September 18th. And this peak should produce a 5.0 larger quake from the Los Angeles to the Ridgecrest area. Once again, 16 years of research here at the Earthquake Forecast Center, quakeprediction.com. Over 165,000 followers now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Thank you to every one of you. And this forecast model is working extremely accurate for California and Japan. And we will be adding other cities in the future. So stay tuned and be ready for a strong earthquake tomorrow in the Los Angeles area. They could hit earlier in the morning, but most likely in the afternoon or evening on the 18th of September, Saturday evening, most likely. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you so much.